evidence that his lawyers want the court to hear.
In the world of politics, a secret audio recording between then-candidate Trump and lawyer Michael Cohen. What the two allegedly discussed involving a former Playboy playmate and money.
And we have a winner. Someone is holding the winning ticket for the 5th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history, $500 million, where that ticket was purchased.
All right, good morning. It is Wednesday Hump Day. I'm Owen Conflenti.
And I'm Haley Hernandez. I'm in for Rachel McNeil this morning. Jen Reyna tracking our traffic.
Yeah, some issues already brewing. So, of course, I have your latest drive times and what's closed out there, yeah.
All right.
We'll go from there.
The same old song and dance, more or less.
Same old song and dance. That's right. So, no, it's funny. Eric Brayton and I were talking yesterday afternoon when he got in and I was getting ready to go. We were like, okay, how are we going to talk about hot? You mentioned yesterday, Jen, right? Yeah, we're running out of words at this point. So, yeah, it is going to be hot again this afternoon. Not as humid, though. Bit of a northeasterly wind, which generally is good because, one, that's got us a little cooler this morning in the 70s, but that also means, much to Haley's chagrin by her look on her face about a half hour ago, that means you can heat it up. That's why the desert Southwest, they can get to 116 because there's no humidity, right?
Oh, lucky them.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So it's a dry heat. Doesn't matter. Turn your oven on to 116, stand in front of it. Tell me what that feels like. It's hot. Either way. Let's go outside and
I
show
heard
you
a
what
bale
we
of
got.
hay.
An update to a story we first broke at 10 last night. A young woman found dead in an apartment in Conroe yesterday. According to police, the victim was just 16 years old, and she was shot and killed while playing with a handgun with another person. Witnesses told police that the 19-year-old man that the victim was with had left the scene, but he was later taken into custody. No word yet on if he faces any charges.
It's 5:05 right now. Let's go to a developing story that we've been following since 2016. A teenager charged in the death of his parents in their Bel Air home.
Today, his attorneys are working to get the case against him dropped, citing critical evidence that has been withheld. Channel 2's Jake Reiner joins us live from downtown with the latest developments. Jake? And only on to a thief steals the equipment a man needs to take care of his family. Thousands of dollars worth of lawn equipment taken from in front of a Southwest Houston home on Curly Oaks near Fuquay. Manny Cuellar and his family have lived in the house for 50 years. Early Tuesday morning, someone took his work truck and valuable lawn equipment. That theft was caught on surveillance cameras. Cuellar is asking investigators to focus on a dark-colored four-door sedan. If you know anything about this crime or the vehicle in the video, call Houston Police. And this morning, one person in California might be considering an early retirement.
Somebody in the Golden State bought the only winning Mega Millions ticket, $522 million jackpot. Yep, they matched all 6 numbers last night. The cash option is $308 million. No small change there.
Wow.
In Texas, we did have one winning ticket for $3 million. That was sold outside Dallas in a place called Gun Barrel City. The jackpot ticket was sold in San Jose at there's Ernie's Liquors. That's it. The now famous Ernie's
Now
Liquors.
famous. True that.
The winner has I love the logo. You see the little liquor bottle logo with the E in it. All right. The winner has this top-notch graphics right there. The winner has not come forward. Good branding, Ernie, and now, you know, he's famous in the neighborhood.
Good for the guy not coming forward.
Yeah, right. Hide if you
You guys
can.
won't know if it's me.
So many new family members you didn't know
Right.
they were out there. All right, wildfires are spreading rapidly in Northern California.
Ahead at 5, the popular summer attraction that has to temporarily close to visitors as firefighters try to gain control over the fire. Justin?
Channel 2 News today.
Breaking news from Atascocita. Speed and alcohol being blamed for a deadly crash that killed 2 Itasca high school students. What we're learning about their classmate and who deputies say is being charged.
Plus, Demi Lovato resting in the hospital this morning after a reported overdose. How her friends and fellow celebrities are coming together to send their support.
And another food recall this morning. This time it's a Houston favorite, queso. We're going to show you what brand to look for in your pantry.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Haley Hernandez in for Rachel McNeil.
Good morning. Looking glad to be here with you. Jay Ray, Justin Stapleton. We all love queso, don't we?
Oh, yes.
You put on pretty much anything?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
Is there any one thing you won't put queso on?
Chocolate.
Okay.
Good call. Great call.
All I could think of was
Okay,
something
man.
sweet.
Yeah, like Lucky
Otherwise, the answer
Charms
is
or
always
something.
yes.
Yes, exactly.
Lucky Charms.
That'd be right, one or the other. Like she said, something sweet. But you theoretically, you could do your queso outdoors. You just like let the sun
You could.
stir it up.
And then you could mix in some, dark crayons, and you got it, right?
gross. That's another bad
Justin.
Too far. Too much?
He's putting two things together that should not be put together.
I know people at home are like, "What?" If you're watching Flappy
You just woke up.
Just missed
now
it.
you're all confused.
Yeah, it's not bad out there today, guys. We got temperatures in the 70s.
Helicopter parents, they hovered over their children's each and every move, controlling every decision. Well, experts say those kids are now, in some cases, helicopter kids, caregivers to their parents now.
They're caring
Did I
for
say
their
that right?
parents. Yeah. Senior Care Authority in Houston tells me more than 34 million people in the U.S. are caring for an adult over the age of 50. Most of them, of course, have good intentions when trying to care for their parents or in-laws, health, living situation, clothing, but sometimes it crosses the line towards controlling, and one local expert tells me that leads to tension between everyone in the family. Now, Blizzard also reminds adult children now is the time to enjoy their parents, so avoid arguments by watching your language. Use gentle suggestions. They can be more helpful than scolding words.
Yeah, you know, I see both sides. I watch my mother deal with it, and it's like it is stressful, but time is precious, so you got to balance it out one way or another.
And we're trying to preserve their life, but you don't want to cross into that line where you're upsetting their quality of life. Yeah.
Causing more stress in their life in that case. Yeah, it's a fine line, folks, and you know, kudos to all the adult kids out there taking care of their
caregivers.
Parents, you know.
Oh man,
yeah, they need a lot of help in
praise.
some cases.
Big time.
All right, traffic and weather time. We got 6:46 on the clock. J. Ray, how we doing out there? You don't have to wait till Sunday for a Sunday.
No.
National Hot Fudge Sunday.
See ya.
So
Go and
good,
get it.
so good.
Plus, the Trump administration has until today to reunite hundreds of migrant children with their parents, while the Justice Department says they might technically make the deadline.
And our Houston Texans hoping today will be the great start to a great 2018 season, kicking off training camp in West Virginia. See what's going on there as we begin this Thursday. Good morning to you. I'm Owen Conflenti.
And I'm Haley Hernandez in for Rachel McNeil. Jen Reyna tracking traffic for us this morning.
No, it's been so nice, right?
Your fingers are crossed.
Yes,
so good.
both of them. Like, shh. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right.
All right, and weather-wise, we don't have any issues that are going to cause problems on the morning drive. Roads are dry. I can't believe it's football season already.
Yay, it took long enough to get here.
I know.
Thank you.
It certainly isn't football
Ready to
weather.
tailgate?
No, it's not. It's not tailgate weather either.
Exactly, which is why they're doing their practices up in West Virginia, where the weather is much, much
Gorgeous.
nicer.
Well, a driver is in custody in Northwest Harris County accused of hitting a woman and then driving off, but she didn't get far.
This is a breaking news alert we've been tracking since 4:30 today. Deputies say another driver on FM 1960 saw the crash happen and helped them out. Jake Reiner's live on the scene this morning. Jake?
Thank you, Jake. We are following a breaking news alert from Beijing where there's been an explosion outside the U.S. Embassy. An embassy spokesperson says a man exploded a small homemade bomb outside the building. They say, though, that he was the only one injured in the blast and that he hurt his hand. There's no word on a possible motive. We'll have updates for you on air and online throughout the morning. Today is the court-ordered deadline for the Trump administration to reunite migrant families separated at the U.S. border. Lawyers for the Justice Department said this week they could reunite all eligible parents with their children by the deadline, but they say they don't know where many of the parents are. Some of them may have been deported without their children. Ahead at 6:15, Tracy Potts is live in Washington to bring us up-to-date information on the reunification process. And Reliant Energy has a warning for its customers. Watch out for people trying to scam you. The company says they're getting more reports of thieves calling customers about supposedly overdue bills. The scammers tell the customers their power will be turned off unless they send money within a few hours. Reliant says you should be suspicious if the caller tells you to use a prepaid debit card, money order, or PayPal. If you're not sure whether you're talking to a scammer, call the company directly. And some Astros fans have bobblehead fever this morning. More than 100 people are in line right now at Minute Maid Park to get the July bobblehead of the month. And not just any bobblehead. Check out Josh Reddick in bobblehead form, sporting his classic American flag bottoms and his wrestling belt. Oh, yeah, there's an eagle on there for good measure, too.
Of course.
We have a live look at that line. Look at that. The team store passed out 150 wristbands for the bobblehead starting at midnight. Now the people lined up have to stay in line until the store opens at 9 a.m. or else they give up their place in line. We're told all of the wristbands have been accounted for.
Oh my gosh, it's Yeah, this was the reaction a Tennessee family had when they got an unwanted guest on their boat. The snake was slithering across the surface of Lake Fontana in western North Carolina earlier this month.
That noise.
And the family's 14-year-old daughter, she kept an eye on it and a camera on the snake. So it was a timber rattlesnake. He slithered onto the back of the boat there on that very bottom part.
Look at him
They were
going
able
up
to
the
sort
boat.
of shoo it away. I know. Can you imagine? No, but what is worse? I read there was a counselor involved with this family and another kid in a tube in the water.
In the water?
Happened.
No.
Yes. I just can imagine. I'm sure their
so
day on the
freaked out
lake
right now.
probably ended pretty quickly after that.
Absolutely.
You'd be like,
You
oh,
can't
And
swim
also,
fast
who's
enough.
driving the boat? Get away. Just drive.
Just drive.
Yeah.
Leave him in the tubes and go.
I keep forgetting about the guy
be
in the
back
tube.
later. Right.
Well, Eric Brait.
I'm
I
not
don't know
going
what
to the
say,
lake
buddy.
today, Eric.
I would be sent.
Go in store.
store.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was thinking that was probably the easier option because a lot of times teachers, my mom works in CCISD, and I know from her, they have specific requirements because
Right.
they have a specific need for that. The
Yeah.
wide rule, the yellow, the red, it all means something once you get started. In
Yeah. The other thing that I found is a lot of times the stores will be sold out, but online you can find it on the website easier. So you don't have to worry about, oh, this store's sold out. Let me check another one. Anyway.
So a good resource then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
Very good.
Well, coming up, Eric will have our hot afternoon forecast.
Thanks for that.
It's just a broken record at this point. And Jennifer will have the slows that are popping up in traffic. Stay with us. Nature decides freedom over Texas will go on. The show must go on. That means a number of road closures ahead of tonight's fireworks display. We'll tell you where they are and what organizers have planned.
Raise a glass to freedom. Keeping an eye on the skies this morning, too, so you can be prepared, because there's the radar. See how it activates. It's like she hit the button, boom, and there it went. Britta Merwin will be along in just a few moments. Good morning on this 4th of July. I'm Owen Conflenti.
And I'm Haley Hernandez in for Rachel McNeil this morning. I'm sure you have lots more fans now that they know you know Hamilton.
Well, I've been learning, yes.
Made the reference.
Because, you know, the lyrics, they get in your head, and that's just how they do. Kathy is in for Jennifer. Happy 4th of July.
Yes, happy 4th of July to everyone.
Yeah.
Wet roads, a little bit of wet roads, but no issues right now.
Awesome.
Good. I think a lot of people are off today.
Britta.
Hope so.
I know. Oh, you had to hop on the bandwagon. She did it.
If I was going to fill in, I needed to learn how to say
The
Britta.
whole way.
And I know who probably told you that was Rachel. Oh, it was you? Oh, Owen. I know. You know, the timing is so inconvenient.
Yes.
And really, as we go throughout today, you have to be really smart because our tropical downpours.
Breaking news this morning, a boy and his mother had to be rescued from Lake Livingston early this morning after their boat sank. The two were on the boat with the mother's boyfriend fishing when the weather turned. The 16-foot boat started sinking. The boyfriend started swimming to shore but lost the boy and his mother. They were found, though, floating in the water 7 to 8 hours later. We are told the two are expected to be okay.
Elsewhere, 3 men and 3 women are safe on dry ground this morning after being rescued from the San Jacinto River last night. Houston Fire and Rescue was called out about 7 o'clock. They were on the north side of the river near River Grove Park. The person who called 911 told the officials that the boat was sinking and they needed help. First responders came out to help, and it was actually a good Samaritan who got those 6 to safer shores. Now, don't forget, with regard to the weather, you can get the most up-to-date information ahead of the 4th of July celebrations tonight with Frank's free forecast weather app, which you can find through your app store.
And as we get ready for the 4th of July festivities around the area, we've got a crew out at the big one here in Houston this afternoon.
Yeah, buddy Jake Reiner live at the Freedom Over Texas celebration at Eleanor Tinsley. Good morning, Jake. We understand that you might be about to find something to eat here. What's going on?
Yeah,
Guess what?
Driver is in critical condition this morning after a crash ejected her from the car. It happened at Richmond Avenue and Fountain View Drive. We're told that around 10:30 last night, a woman in a red car was speeding east on Richmond. Police say she hit a car headed the same direction, lost control, and hit a pole and a car in a nearby parking lot. She was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the car. We're told the driver of the car she hit was taken to the hospital in stable condition, and we are waiting to hear if alcohol may have been a factor in the crash. All right, don't get too nervous, but we're about to talk about something that is happening in bedrooms across America.
Oh, yeah, baby. No, not that.
Not that.
We're talking about snoring and blanket stealing. Miranda covered her ears. Snoring and blanket stealing. So here you go. This is the survey. Nearly half of American couples want a sleep break from their partner. So here's a list of the top 7 gripes, according to the study by Slumber Cloud. I don't know what Slumber Cloud. We have to have Amy investigate that. 50% of folks complain about snoring. 37% say it gets too hot under the covers. And 29% of couples, they just go to sleep at different times. I think we can all kind of relate on this shift about the going to bed at different times.
Frank does not like that I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock sometimes. Now, other complaints, not being able to stretch out and hogging the blankets. Yep, I'm guilty of that one too. Some say they just weren't comfortable, and others say they deal with hair in their face all night.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's 10%. That's the low. Okay.
I have a solution for
That's
that
the more
one.
rare one.
Yeah. Now, how many times a year do you fly? Once, twice, 10 times? Well, the government just made a decision that affects everybody in the air.
Yeah, you may or may not like it. We'll see coming up what federal officials are saying about.
Now to a consumer alert that impacts every single one of us who flies. The government just weighed in on the size of shrinking plane seats, and they say it's okay.
They must not fly, any of them.
Yeah, a passengers' rights group actually took them to court over this, claiming planes are getting too cramped to safely evacuate in the event of an emergency. But the FAA says test-proof planes can be evacuated in time, and they do not have to regulate airline legroom and seat sizes. Now, keep in mind, those seats are shrinking, and 3 out of 4 Americans are now overweight. So the Americans are growing.
We're going to have to vote with our money somehow. I don't know. It's the only way to get around. What are you going to do? Man, that's tough.
Now, if you are doing last-minute shopping for your barbecue cookout, there are some deals on some items you might want to add to the menu.
Yeah, and be careful when you fill up today. Federal agents say thieves are targeting drivers on the holiday and into this week, knowing that more people are going to be driving. So our consumer expert, Amy Davis, is here to help us out.
All right, I'll start this one off with some comforting words. It's not your fault. But some of you are eating too much added sugar, sugars that hide in processed foods or drinks. And yes, that means foods you'll be eating today at your 4th of July barbecues. Sorry to spoil the party. Consuming too much can increase your chances of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity, but there are ways to reduce your sugar intake.
News today.
This morning, Governor Greg Abbott is heading to Santa Fe for a special church service honoring the victims of Friday's school shooting.
And the memorial services are getting underway. One of the 10 victims killed, Sabika Sheikh, will be remembered at a service in Stafford.
And breaking overnight, scary moments for officers in Dallas after someone opened fire on a police substation.
Good Sunday morning. Almost looks like Monday morning. I'm Jacob Rascon with Haley Hernandez and Britta. Thank you so much for being here.
We're happy to see you.
Yeah, in for Sophia Ojeda and Cambrell Marshall. So
Cambrell's working on a special live edition of Houston Newsmakers today.
Of course, we look forward to that later on.
Yeah, it is going to be incredible. So that's why I'm here today. Definitely good to see everybody. And guess what? We have a chance of rain. Finally, a chance for rain. It has been a while. We need it.
We'd be happy to say that.
Exactly. Never thought we'd be happy about rain, but we are. So take a live look outside. It's a beautiful.
This morning, we are remembering the victims of the Santa Fe school shooting. And in a few hours, Governor Greg Abbott will arrive for a church service to honor those who died on Friday.
Here's a look at the students and teachers we lost, lives cut short by violence. Channel 2's Jake Reiner's live in Santa Fe, where the victims will be remembered. Jake?
Well, the family of the accused shooter, Dimitrios Pagorchis, says their hearts go out to the victims' families, and they too want to know why this happened. The family released a statement which reads in part, "We are as shocked and confused as anyone else by these events that occurred." The family also says, "We have been and will continue to cooperate with the authorities conducting the investigation and ask for the public's patience while it moves forward." In other news this morning, a Houston police officer has a broken arm after a pickup truck rear-ended his patrol vehicle. The crash happened along the Gulf Freeway near Fuquay in southeast Houston when the officer was investigating another accident. The wreck also left a person in the back seat of the police SUV with minor injuries. We're told the driver in the pickup tried to run, but officers arrested him. The Kilauea volcano in Hawaii is still showing no signs of calming down. Lava flows have grown more vigorous, and there's concern more homes may burn. Since eruptions started more than 2 weeks ago, 23 fissures have developed, and some that had slowed down have now ramped up again, spewing lava near homes. Police are warning thousands who live around the Kilauea's East Rift they could be forced to leave their homes.
Wow, amazing video. It is one of our country's biggest trading partners, but the United States has not been on great terms with China in that arena for some time.
There have been tariff threats on both sides. Next, new developments in what President Trump has called a trade imbalance. Mrs. Bush will lie in repose here in Houston. The city has already seen moving tributes ahead of tomorrow's funeral services.
And the Bush Presidential Library prepares Mrs. Bush's final resting place. The private goodbyes planned for family, friends, and invited guests. I will say good Friday morning to you, the 20th of April. I'm Owen Conflenti.
And I'm Haley Hernandez. I'm in for Rachel McNeil this morning. Jennifer Reyna is tracking traffic, and Eric Braid is in here for weather.
Yeah, Britta is taking a long weekend, and a good day to be a weatherman today because the weather is just absolutely perfect once again today. We've had a really nice week, and we're going to finish the work week out.
It's 5:02 right now, and today, members of the public will be able to pay their respects to Barbara Bush.
Starting at noon, she will lie in repose at St. Martin's Episcopal Church, and Andy Sirota is at the church this morning to begin our special extended coverage. Good morning, Andy.
Haley, Owen, good morning to the both of you.
Well, later this morning, students across the country plan to walk out of class, bringing attention to those who have lost their lives to gun violence in schools. More than 2,100 walkouts are planned. Last month, thousands of students did the same, a month after the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Today also marks the 19th anniversary of the massacre at Columbine High School, where 2 senior students opened fire inside the Colorado school, killing 12 students and 1 teacher.
This morning, the law enforcement community is grieving the loss of 2 Florida deputies.
Ahead at 5, the shooting that took their lives and now the families they leave behind. Request denied. A former Harris County deputy and her husband will face a jury right here in Harris County for the death of a father outside a Denny's restaurant. Plus, fighting for life. A Houston police officer injured in a freak accident is in critical condition this afternoon. What we're learning about the accident, an outpouring of support for the officer. And rain is on its way. You're getting a live look at the front that's creeping into the Houston area, when we're expecting to see the rain, and what's coming after that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Haley Hernandez in for Andy Sirota. We begin with the threat of rain and severe weather tonight. Channel 2 meteorologist Cambrell Marshall joining us now on how it's all going to time out today.
Yeah, we're going to be okay today.
Developments in a deadly confrontation outside a Denny's restaurant. A judge has ruled the couple charged in the death of John Hernandez will face a jury in Harris County. Channel 2's Jake Reiner has the latest in the case. All right, we know lots are anxious to get those updates. Thank you. A driver accused in a deadly hit-and-run crash in southwest Houston is on the run this afternoon. Police say a 32-year-old man was riding his bike at Town Park Drive and Westline Drive when he was hit. The driver who hit him left the biker to die. Police are searching for any information to lead to the driver. At this time, all they know is it was a gray car. A high-speed chase out of Seabrook came to a deadly end this morning. According to the Galveston County Sheriff's Office, the chase started around Highway 146 and Grand in Bay Cliff. Speeds topped 90 miles an hour. It ended when the driver lost control, ran into a cement divider, and flipped the car. The vehicle crashed out in front of Life Storage off of 146 near Towers Boulevard. Firefighters pulled the driver out, but that person later died at the hospital. Former FBI Director James Comey is breaking his silence. For the first time since he was fired, Comey is commenting on his dismissal and his soon-to-be-released new book, A Higher Loyalty. In the book, Comey reportedly calls the president ego-driven and likened his leadership style to that of a mob boss. President Trump fired back at Comey this morning, calling him an untruthful slimeball, and said it was his great honor to fire him. More than 21,000 victims of the largest Ponzi scheme in history will get some of their money back. Those defrauded by Bernie Madoff's company will see a payout of $504 million. Federal officials have recovered $4 billion in total through asset forfeitures, which will also be returned to victims. Madoff pled guilty to 11 felonies in 2009. We're keeping an eye on Syria. An investigation has been launched into last weekend's suspected chemical weapons attack near the capital. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has scheduled another emergency meeting to prevent a wider war. NBC's Bill Neely reports from Beirut, Lebanon.
In the Damascus, Bill Neely, NBC News, Beirut.
And a royal baby will be born any day now, and bookkeepers across the UK are taking bets on what the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will name their third child. Which names are leading the pack?
Take odds on that. Look